Okay, so how do you get to your switch is basically covered in another video. So I did my mirror switch at the same time I did my electric seat switches. So actually how to get the whole center console out and how to get to the switch is actually covered in my video on the electrical seat switch repair. So watch that, skip around in there, and that'll show you how to get the center console thing out. And then where we're going to start right now is almost to the point where you get the switch out. So center console mostly removed. How do we get the switch out of here and test the switch and test the mirrors?
Okay, so it's almost out. So I'm just going in here with a screwdriver, twisting it a little bit at a time on each side until that happens. So I've replaced this switch before, so that's why I'm being really careful with these. And I used to have an old Jimmy, 94 Jimmy. It's in Blazer S10 thing, and it had these same damn switches on it, and I remember them breaking and being really soft. So that's how I got that side off. Okay, so switch for the mirrors. There is a clip behind it, just like on an old car. On a lock cylinder, it was behind it. You know, it was on here, something like that, and I just pulled it out, and then it slid forward, so that's how I could get access to this. Alright, well, upon further review, I figured out what my problem is. Yeah, this is one solid unit, and the actual disconnect is underneath here, so that's where I need to disconnect it. So I'm going to disconnect that and then pull out that switch. Okay, so trunk release. Anyways, there's a guy right here. You push on that, and that's what releases it. Probably, yeah, like that. So the brown one was there. Pulled on that, and it popped out. So now I just got that one out. The back of that switch started falling out, so that means that switch is probably terrible and ruined. And I got to remove the one last power window switch, and I'll have this damn thing out. Alright, so there it is, pulled out. Okay, so here's the diagram for the power mirrors. I'm going to go ahead and check those. After looking at it, it looks pretty simple. What I'm actually looking for is 1, 2, 3, 4 wires. Because these are the motors that are inside of each of the mirrors. So I want each motor to work and test it. It looks like it goes to the switch first, and then it goes, like the main up and down switch and side to side, and then it goes to the switch that says which mirror to select, and then from the mirror select switch it tells it which mirror to go to, the left one or the right one. So I just have 4 colors of wires, and I've already checked this. I have a yellow wire, a green wire, a white wire, and a blue wire. So these are the 4 wires I need to do. Something else I was noticing in this manual is double checking that ground, and it actually sends the ground from here all the way down. So I double checked these connections and looked up in the back and stuff where these wire harnesses are at, because this number here is the wire harness, the 314. Then you go over here where it says 314, and then it tells you, okay, it says 201-8A, so it means 8A, page 201, page 8, diagram number A, that's what all that means. And here's all those different, there's 314 and 313 and 290, so there's the 314. That's the one I'm interested in right there. So I just wanted to double check that. So that's just a quick way to tell you how these weird diagrams work. So all these diagrams, it's got these little dashes through here. That means that's the connection point. So I was assuming C means connection, and it's connection 314. In each chapter, it tells you where to look for this. And this is the small book. This is the supplement. So you have to have the electrical supplement for this car, or it's not included. So all you need to do, there's plugs, and there's only certain plugs that go into certain things. So this square plug, that's attached to this other plug. Well, this is the whole window circuit. Right here, on the smaller of the two connectors, you have a black wire with a white stripe and a regular black wire. So I got those jumped. So that way it's sending ground all the way down through the rest of the circuit. And then all I have to do is send power down on these wires. So I either I'm sending power down on the green wire or the blue wire or this yellow wire or white wire. So the ones on the outside. So you send power down to any one of these and I'll move the mirror a certain direction. You can get power from multiple places in here. Oh, you know why? Because I unplugged the seat harness. So the seat harness is where I got the power from. So you can get power from your seat harness or your cigarette lighter. You can also just bring in a motorcycle battery if you want to do that method. And with that method, you would just put negative, for example, just down this wire, that one with the white stripe, because that's going to the mirrors, and then power on either, on any of these other circuits on the outside. And that will do the same thing. And that actually might be easier for most folks. Let's try this again. So let's try up. Let's try yellow. Now it's moving. Yes, it's moving. It's over there moving, yes. Let's try white. That moves. Yes, that motor's good. Okay, that's the driver's side. Let's test the other side. If I can see way over there. It's moving. Yes, they both worked. Yes. Okay, cool. All right. So that means the motors work. Because essentially what it's doing is it's going to the switch and it's flipping the polarity. So that's why it's sending the ground and the power at the same time. So the switch flip-flops the polarity for up or down. So that's why it's this crazy complicated thing. Okay, then how do you test the switch that goes to it, the directional switch? Chances are this is probably okay. Mine is. This is a very, very simple switch. It just creates contacts going that direction and contacts going that direction. So it just flips. So it's actually a very, very simple switch. So you just put a connection in the middle. I've got my DMM, now I do, set to check for resistance or impedance or ohms, probably ohms. And what I'm looking for is, okay, I flip my switch. Now you flip it this way, it's actually going to go to the probe on the other side. That's the only weird part. So center connection, same like the bottom row, for example, connect that, and look, I have 0. That's just a bad connect. So there you go. So I got a good connection right there. And flip it to the other side along this bottom row, and then bam, I've got resistance that direction. So you want to get close to 0 as possible. Put this middle one to the top and then do the same thing again. So I should have, just about 0 ohms going that way. And it's just because these connections are dirty and I'm being lazy. And same thing on this one. So this switch is good. So that's how you test your switch for the power windows. All right, I made a wiring diagram, or I'm looking at the wiregram, and I made a way to test this thing now. So it's got two polarities coming in. It has negative coming in, positive coming in, and then it just basically has 2 polarities coming out. So one polarity is going to swap on the negative wire, and then it's going to go down one of these 2 wires for up or down. And then the mirror select switch will say, hey, what switch? So this is all you need to know. Down is blue positive, and that light brown wire, which is really this wire here on the harness, the black with the white stripe. So the light brown wire will be negative. And then up, well, that's the opposite. They swap polarities, and there you go. Left and right. So left, green, positive. The light brown wire will be negative, and then right, which is not spelled correctly, will be positive, and green will be negative. Once again, flipping the polarity. So that's how that works. Okay, let me show you how to test these with just a DMN. It actually might be easier just to hook up the positive and negative wire and watch the polarity on the outputs. That would probably be easier, but I wanted to figure out what leg was actually dead on this. So there is a way to test it just one wire at a time, but you have to swap wires each time you change direction. So let's look at up, for example. So up, light brown should have power, which is the negative wire coming out, and blue should be negative. So the dark brown wire is negative coming in. If I wanted to check the negative circuit for the up circuit. So I need to connect blue, which is right here, the blue wire to the darker brown wire. So that's the two I need to put together to see if the up works. So the clock position is just like this. The connection goes to the bottom, because otherwise it'd be going up and the wire would be hitting your center console. So this is the correct orientation, just like that, with the wires coming straight down. So up is up. So I'm going to connect these wires. Okay, the wires are now connected. I have dark brown to blue. I'm going to test the up position, push it up, and look at that. Got a perfect connection. You want that as close to zero as possible so you have no resistance. There's a tiny bit of resistance, but that just might be my silly connections here. So that's okay. Now let's check the up circuit on the other side. So that's the blue wire coming out. Now I need to check the light brown wire. So the light brown wire is your ground wire coming out. So I need to connect the positive wire to that light brown wire. Okay, my positive wire is now connected. So I have my positive wire, the red wire, is connecting to the ground wire coming out. So now when I put up, boop, I get, zero resistance, which is fantastic. So that's how you check one circuit at a time. So that's the up circuit, for example. So now if I want to check the down position, once again, I just need to check the blue wire coming out. So I'm going to check that. So I'm going to connect the blue wire. My blue wire should have positive on it going down, which means I need to connect the other end of my probe to the hot wire, this pink wire, which will look something like this. And then when I test it and push down, okay, that seems to be working. Push it again. Working. Push it again. I was having problems with this earlier. Okay, so that seems to be working. Okay, so I have positive coming down the way it's supposed to. Now let's check the negative circuit. The negative circuit means light brown should have negative, so I just need to connect the two browns. So I'm going to connect the two browns together, and I should have continuity. Okay, my two brown wires connected together, push down, and nothing. So there we go. So that's why this switch is no bueno. I've got absolutely nothing on it. So there you go. So that's why this switch is not working, and this is a replacement switch. But the other ones work as well. Let me show you how they work. Okay, let's test up. Oh, excuse me, left and right. So let's do left. So green, I want positive. So I'm going to connect my one end of my probe to the green wire and the other end to the positive coming in. Okay, so red connected to the green. Turn it to the left, and watch-ha, it works. So that circuit's working. Let's check the other circuit. So I need to make sure left brown is negative. Okay, I got my two browns connected together. Push it to the left. It's hard to do with one hand and holding the camera. There it goes. So this is turned to the left, and I have, almost zero resistance, which is perfect. Now to check the right side, my light brown needs to be connected to positive. So I'm going to leave my probe here on the negative side for the light brown and connect the other probe to positive. Here we go. I got positive and light brown connected. Push this little guy to the left, and there it goes. It works. Now to check the other circuit, the negative circuit, green should be negative. So I'm going to connect one probe to green and the other probe to dark brown, because that's my negative. So now when I select this, bam, same thing. So that's how you test the wand on a bench. Now everything is all replaced and put back together. Another replacement switch has been sent to me. So now this switch works. But like I said, these switches are brand new and they're available, but they are very expensive. New price is around $90. I got this used one for under $30. So now that I know how to get in here and get out again, and when this switch fails again, I guess I'll get the new switch. So all my labels and decals are all worn out. So let's demonstrate how it works. So you got to have the key on. So I'm
Gonna turn the key on. Gonna move my wand and... oh, there it goes. Yeah, I just needed to move the center select switch back and forth, and now it works. So other side. And forgive all that noise. My electric fan in the radiator's bypassed to turn on after 10 seconds of the ignition being on no matter what. Because that's another issue to fix for a different day. But now my mirrors are fixed. All right, so there you go. So that is how you test the switch and how you test the individual motors inside of here if you want to fix one at a time. So thank goodness my motors are good. Otherwise, I would have had to, I've already had these door panels just off recently too, and you would have had to replace these mirrors. I don't know if you can get in there and replace that motor or not. That would be quite the challenge to get in there, but I'm sure it's doable. So for you non-electrical experts, I hope that was helpful for you, and we'll walk you through how to do that test. Good luck. Happy C4ing.